Greg, so how much did your familiarity in the past with, working with Joe Barry, working with Rich, how much did that factor into, their interest in you and your interest in being here?
Obviously, there was some familiarity there. We were all at San Diego Chargers together for a couple years. And 1 year, I was actually I was the assistant linebacker coach, as he was the head linebackers coach. So me and him spent a lot of days together, a lot of time in the room. So knowing them personally, knowing their families, them knowing myself and my family, it was that familiarity had a lot to do with it. And then obviously just working together, you have a respect for football and how you go about your business of football. So it was important.
When you were hired here, I read something from the Colts website about how you got your start in coaching.
Yeah.
You went to the mall and you found like some sort of flyer on your car. Can you take us through that?
Yeah, I was down in Arizona, and I was playing arena football at the time. So I kind of knew that my professional football life was coming to an end very soon. And so I was at the mall trying to figure out what I was going to do. I'd already worked out that day, and I came out of the mall. There was a flyer from the YMCA that was looking for kids for a basketball team, and then at the bottom it said looking for coaches as well. And I said, well, I want to do something helpful, so I'll go and volunteer my time, and I coached this 9-10-year-old basketball team. And long story short, I went, got my own team. I don't have kids at the time. I was like 25 at the time, maybe. And we ended up going to the championship. We lost in the championship game, but it was one of the most gratifying times that I had, and just what I was doing and the reaction from the kids and all the players. And when I left that season, I made a decision at that point. I said, hey, I think coaching is kind of in my blood. I think that's what I want to do. And from that point on, then it just kind of spiraled. I went to ASU and volunteered, and then everything just kind of got me to this point. So that's how it started.
By any chance, do you still get to keep in touch with any of those kids?
I did for a while. One of our best players. He ended up. He was a decent high school football or high school basketball player. I don't think he ended up going to a big time college, but I did follow them for a little while and just kind of checked in on them. And their parents would email me every now and then. So that'd be a good thing if one of you guys can find those kids. That'd be awesome.
You interned at Arizona State in 2003. I mean, that's a hell of a sacrifice, right? I mean, you're working 1 million hours for nothing, right?
Yeah, I was. I would work, and you couldn't work in football at the time because there were regulations. So they allowed me to be a volunteer intern in the weight room. So I was a volunteer intern in the weight room, but they knew I wanted to coach. So they said, hey, in your spare time when you're done with your work here, you can go upstairs and you can go ahead and talk to the coaches. If you want to sit in meetings, you can do, but you got to fulfill your volunteer work down here in the weight room. So that's kind of how I did it. And they couldn't pay me, so they said they would. I was a get back coach at home games only, and I got a free brown bag lunch dinner at the end of games.
How'd you pay the bills?
So that was it. Arena football, man. I had 2 roommates and saved my arena football money.
Greg, there's somewhere in there's a joke about NFL players and 9 and 10-year-olds not being that different sometimes. But I'm curious about what, while you were coaching these kids, clicked about your love of coaching, because obviously it set you on this path
Right.
to where you are now. What did you realize as you were doing it?
What I'll say, it really was, like I said, we ended up losing in the championship game, but it was them trusting me to coach them. You know what I mean? Now, granted, they're 9 and 10-year-old kids. They don't know any better. But it was them saying, all right, coach, we'll do what you say because we believe you're telling us what's best for us to do. And watching them go out there and actually apply what we did in practice, apply it in these games. And granted, these are 9 and 10-year-olds, so we based everything off of defense. We were just running around trapping and trying to steal the ball and make layups. But you take that energy and you take that, that concept of them trusting you. And that's kind of how, you base it off of coaching right now. When you're coaching, NFL players, you're coaching professionals, they want to know how you can help them. And to me, you don't have to let me coach you. So when they allow you to coach them, you have to take that seriously because they're letting you in. They're trusting you with their career. So that's how serious I take it as far as coaching them. Because if they trust me to coach them and they trust me to apply what I'm coaching them to do, then I think it can be a happy marriage. So I like the gratification when you see it all come together.
9 and 10-year-olds don't know any better and they trust you.
Yes.
Obviously, these guys do. So is it showing them exactly how you can help them that wins that trust, or what's the key to getting the trust now with these type of guys?
It's being honest. It is being honest with them, and I think that's the big key because we're all grown men. Obviously, I'm the oldest one in the room, but we're all grown-ups, and that's the one thing I try to tell them. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to you about anything. That's why you can trust me to coach you and do. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you it was good when it wasn't good. I'm not gonna lie to you and say, it's bad or do something that I don't think is gonna help you. So you do have to build it some, but I think that trust kind of gets built faster, right, when you're just upfront with them right away. And I do, and I go through with each one of them and ask them like, hey, if you allow me to coach you, this is what I promise to do.
What's been the process like of getting to know your new group of personnel?
Just like anything, as soon as I got to Green Bay, first thing I did was I would reach out, to all the guys in the position, guys who I had previous relationships with. And that's funny, when you're in it long enough, just even being across the field from some guys, you end up talking to them, across the way. Obviously, I had a previous relationship with Russell Douglas. Rudy Ford was with the Cardinals at one point, so I had a previous relationship with him. And even Jonathan Owens, our new safety, another guy who was at the Cardinals when I was there. So you kind of have that relationship, but then you reach out and try to touch some of these other guys that you don't know. And those relationships cultivate even more over time. But just when you reach out to them, and we all have a common goal. So once you guys get together, like when they came into the building, it was kind of smooth sailing at that point.
You've been around some pretty good defensive backs over the years: Peterson, Chris Harris, Weddle, right? What do you think this group? What do you think you have in this group? Compared to maybe some of the great players you've had over the years.
This group is a talented group. Obviously, Jair Alexander, I think he's one of the top players at his position in this game. Really excited to work with him, and you guys probably know him, more than I do at this point. But he's a fierce competitor, and I think that's a part of the position that he plays that you have to have. And he does have that, and I'm excited to work with him and to help him accelerate his game to possibly another level. But this group as a whole, you see kind of how they competed and what they did over the last few years, and I'm excited. I think this group has a chance to continue to climb and continue to get better, and the camaraderie and being together now for a few years obviously helps.
You mentioned knowing Rudy from before a little bit, and Jonathan. How do you kind of feel about what your options are at safety? There's not a lot of open starting jobs on this defense, and that's obviously a big one. And what's the process going to be like to kind of figure out who fits best in that spot?
Well, it's early, and that's the good thing right now is it's early, and you kind of let the competition process kind of go. And obviously, this league is always moving and always changing. So, if different opportunities present themselves, we'll look at it. But right now, with the guys that we have in the building, we think we have good competition to be very competitive at that position.
When do you need to have that competition settled? When would you like to know? Okay, this is our guy at this spot.
What is it? September 9th when we go to Soldier Field? Better have it by then, right? Yeah, the thing about it is all the guys are capable. That's what makes the competition so good. Is everyone in that room is capable. And with that being said, you can come down to the wire, you can come down to whatever week, and that's for Joe Barry and for Matt to make that call when we want to make that call. But that's what makes it such a great competition, I should say, is the fact that they're all capable.
When you played, Greg, I'm guessing there was a cornerbacks coach, there was a linebackers coach, there was a D-line coach, passing game coordinator is your title, right?
Yeah.
How do you view that job, as opposed to just say, hey, I'm coaching a position?
It really, I appreciate the title, but to me, it really doesn't entail anything that I haven't done in the past. Even as a cornerbacks coach a year ago, with the last few years with the Cardinals, it's always been a collective kind of process as far as getting ready for a game and how it all comes together. And that's just kind of how I looked at it as a defensive backs coach and how I looked at it from the back end. And as I start the game plan for my particular part of a game plan, I'm looking at the big picture and you know, talking to different guys and talking to, you know, coordinators and talking to the linebackers coach and, you know, on how it all comes together. So for me, it's nothing that I don't feel like it's really anything that I haven't done before in the past, just because I want to, it all has to look together. I can't find something in the past. I couldn't find something that just worked for the corners. I had to make sure it worked collectively for the defense before I even presented it to the coordinator. And I think now I'm just doing the same thing. It just kind of got a cooler title.
Two more, please. You only had a few weeks there with Rasul in Arizona, but what have you thought of this kind of resume he's put together now over the last year and a half here since he got the opportunity?
Very proud of Rasul. The one thing I didn't know about Rasul is a very intelligent football player. So to watch him kind of put it all together, it was gratifying, again, to watch him put it all together because he had bounced around for a while, and to see him finally kind of find a home and put it all together and getting in a defensive scheme that kind of fit his play style, which is using his eyes, using his vision and his instincts. And I think he maximized it, and he's in a very good position.
I know you're going to the Accelerator Program. What do you think you can offer as far as input and what you'd like to take out of that thing coming up this weekend?
Really excited about it, and I'd like to thank Matt for putting my name in for that. That was I don't take that lightly. I think going in there, just want to kind of be a sponge, not only meet people, you know, but just kind of represent myself. But not only myself, just being here in Green Bay and understanding what it entails to walk around with that G and what this franchise represents. So to be able to go there representing this organization, that kind of makes it even more special. So I just hope that I'm able to meet some people and that I'm able to introduce myself and represent myself and this organization in a positive way.
When you come into a new group, do you want to go back and watch tape from the year before, see what went right, what went wrong, or do you want to just kind of go in with a blank slate for everyone?
No, watching the past season's reps, that's a good way to kind of see where are we starting, where's the benchmark, and what can we improve on, what are your strengths, and what are the things we need to improve on. And those are some of the things that Matt made a very good point. He wanted us to really pinpoint those things with some of the players that were coming back. And so it gives them something to work for. It kind of puts the bar up high for them when you tell them you want them to improve on these things, because there's always room for improvement. And had a chance to speak with each guy that kind of made those lists on, and they've received it very well.
Thanks.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.